Hello, what is up, fellow YouTubers? It is I, Ian, and as you can see here, I'm all decked out for this new heavy metal week. Yeah, you can tell I'm pretty excited. I'm here to this is actually a video response to Deadpoolzilla and his whole, how did you get into heavy metal? So yeah, before I get into this, I just want to say, put your devil horns up and rock on! Ah! Yeah, but anyways, enough of that silly stuff. Yeah, but how I got into heavy metal. That's kind of that's kind of an interesting story to explain here. Um, I guess I should just sort of trace it back to the beginning when I was like maybe 8 or 9 or something, and you know, when I one thing, the all the knowledge and all of the sort of tastes I have for various heavy metal genres and songs and styles and stuff, none of it has sort of been influenced. It's mainly just sort of what I sort of put into it is mainly just sort of research and investigation and just sort of me just wasting away all my time on the internet looking up all these different bands and listening to all their different music and stuff. You know, I guess if I had to go back to the roots of when I started hearing sort of rock music that sounded a little heavier than your normal stereotypical country or or blues song or something like that, which blues is kind of the ultimate root of where heavy metal comes from, but that's sort of detracting a little bit. This is going to sound pretty weird to some of you, but sort of the first somewhat metal sounding song that I remember hearing was the Guns N' Roses song Sweet Child of Mine. I'll bet some of you are scratching your heads. I bet some of you are real puzzled right now. Like, really? Sweet Child of Mine? That's a really odd choice for like a first metal song. I guess Guns N' Roses isn't exactly what I would consider to be metal. More like 80s sort of hair rock or hair metal, whatever you want to classify them as. But that's sort of the song that sort of attracted me into the whole hard rock scene, I guess you could say. That's sort of the song that sort of really drew me in and made me curious to find out more about this fascinating music genre and all of its different subsidiaries. So I guess I have good old Slash to thank for introducing me into the world of heavy metal. So all I have to say is thank you, Slash. You're an awesome guitarist, by the way. I still think, even though I don't care that much for Guns N' Roses, I still think Slash is a badass motherfucking guitarist, and his top hat is pretty badass too. So yeah, Slash, rock on, buddy. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, when I started sort of, when I heard the Guns N' Roses "Sweet Child of Mine," sort of listening to that opening riff, just hearing that whole heavy riff, and just hearing how Axl Rose sort of, whenever he sang, he just sort of went off. He just sort of went off cue a whole lot. His singing, his pattern of singing, his inflections didn't really seem pre-planned. It just sort of, like, his singing would just sort of go all over the place, and even the guitars themselves didn't even seem all that planned out. They sounded very distorted and very heavily and sort of very primal sounding, which that was only really a taste of different heavy metal styles and genres and stuff. But I'm not gonna lie, just hearing the guitar playing throughout that song, that really stirred something inside of me because I don't know what it is about me, but whenever I hear highly distorted guitars from songs that are like way older, where they had like much more primitive technology, that really that really sort of excites me. That makes me that just gets me all excited. It gets me all it starts pumping adrenaline into me. It's just like I start rocking my head back and forth to it. That's why I listen to a lot of old metal as opposed to newer metal. It's because you know, newer all these newer bands, all these quote unquote new metal bands as they call themselves, they don't really do it for me. Like stuff like Disturbed or Five Finger Death Punch, Slipknot. Oh god. I really don't like Slipknot all that. I really don't care for Slipknot. I just really don't care for newer bands in general. Can't exactly I can't exactly say why, but uh but yeah, getting back to what I was saying though, upon hearing Sweet Child of Mine, I just sort of started listening to more different Guns N' Roses stuff, and then I eventually figured out that Guns N' Roses was sort of ranked up there with other bands, and then when I learned that there were more different types of musics and more different types of styles that sounded even heavier than Guns N' Roses, I immediately started looking into this stuff, and then I started looking at stuff like I started looking at Judas Priest and Metallica. Those were the two bands I started looking up the most gratuitously, and uh, most people's first Metallica song they hear is usually off the Black Album. It's usually something like The Unforgiven or Enter Sandman or Wherever I May Roam or something like that. That's not really the case for me. The first Metallica song I ever heard was actually Ride the Lightning. Ride the Lightning. That's an that's an insanely underrated Metallica album. Uh, Ride the Lightning. That was like the second Metallica album ever made, and it starts off with this amazingly high pitched fucking guitar, I guess solo riff. It's just like it's just like, oh man, and that's so epic. That just hit me in the face like, oh, holy shit, this is awesome. Like it's so loud, it's so in your face, it's so primal. I gotta hear more of this. And then in hearing more of the distorted guitars and more of the distorted drums and just more of the off sync, just primal yelling and roaring like that the guys just yelled into their mics like fucking wild rabid animals and beasts. That's when I started learning that I was sort of more into thrash metal, because that was sort of the stuff that thrash metal bands did. And then I started listening to Slayer. Yep, the namesake of the shirt that I'm wearing. Yeah, Slayer. You can't really be a fan of thrash metal without listening to some good old Slayer. And it probably won't surprise you that I say that I enjoy the older Slayer stuff a lot more, considering that I think that the newer Slayer albums don't sound nearly as loud and powerful as don't sound nearly as loud and as just powerful and exuberant as the older Slayer albums. See, here's the thing I love about thrash metal, old thrash metal music, is that it makes some most thrash metal bands when you listen to their earlier albums, like if you listen to an album by Metallica, like say Ride the Lightning or Kill 'Em All, or if you listen to Slayer's Show No Mercy, or you listen to Exodus's Bonded by Blood, or if you listen to some of the '80s Testament shit like Legacy and the New Order and stuff like that. The thing that all those albums have in common is that they all sound like they were recorded in a garage. And I mean that in a good way. It's they sound like they were recorded in like a big wide open area that's real run down and it's real hollow where it's real easy to make echoes. And it sounds very primitive, it sounds very low tech, but that just adds to the primal, animalistic, savage feeling, the savage accentuation that you get from listening to the songs on those albums. And that's the kind of metal music that I love. It's just, I don't like listening to a metal album that feels polished. A metal album that feels like it's had too much technological tampering done to it. That's why I don't really get much into hip hop or rap or something like that, because there's too much like synthesizer bullshit with like the with the computer cutting and all that stupid fucking crap that I can't stand to listen to. It's like, if you can't make any sound with real, honest to God, physical instruments, then you probably don't fucking deserve to be a musician. That's excluding video game music. Or maybe some techno music I've heard, but I'm just saying, when it comes to rock or metal, I just think that computerized I just think that music done with a computer just sounds so hokey and bad and weird and stuff like that. You know, that just doesn't really. I just don't really like hearing effects like that. I like hearing. I just like hearing. I just like hearing raw, powerful instruments that sound their absolute loudest. That gives me a real primal, animalistic, savage feeling that I just love to have when I listen to a thrash metal song. But yeah, anyways, I just went on that whole little tirade. But yeah, I was getting into Metallica, I was getting into Slayer, I got into some other thrash metal bands. You know, I listened to a little bit of Anthrax and Megadeth. Out of the big four, I gotta say, I don't really care that much about Anthrax and Megadeth. I don't hate them, but I don't really think they're that as good as a lot of people kind of say they are. Also, another big type of metal subgenre that I really love listening to, besides thrash metal, is power metal. You know, the type of metal that involves bands like Manowar, Dio, freaking Judas Priest. Of course, you gotta have Judas Priest. Pretty much my all-time favorite. Pretty much like my all-time favorite metal bands right there is Judas Priest. Or maybe not Judas Priest. I don't know. for me to think about my all-time favorite metal band, that's going to take a lot of deep thinking. But the thing that I love about power metal bands like Judas Priest or Dio or Saxon or Manowar or Iron Maiden or stuff like that is that that metal subgenre provides a very big contrast to the people who know nothing about metal and dismiss it as nothing more than pure loud noises with a bunch of yelling and distorted guitar rhythms. That's not the case with power metal. Power metal is basically regular, classic, melodic music only done with a heavy metal twist on it. And that's what I love about it. If you listen to a song by Dio, I guarantee you nobody's going to mistake it for a song by Testament or Slayer. Nobody's going to mistake it for a song that's really loud and in your face and just has no real type of melody or rhythm to it. That's what I really love about power metal. And I know the two metal genres I really love the most are sort of polar opposites. I love power metal, which has more of a rhythmic, melody-based structure to it. And I also love thrash metal, which has really no structure and is all about just making you feel like getting up and beating the shit out of people and just fighting. But hey, I enjoy listening to classical music on top of just enjoying listening to metal. Okay, I could listen to a song by you know what? I love so many different kinds of music that I could listen to. I could listen to Ludwig van Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. While shortly after that, I could listen to a song by Cannibal Corpse or something. That's just kind of the weird musical taste I have. But yeah, not really a whole lot more I can say. Not really a whole lot more I can say on the subject of metal and how I sort of got into it. It's just when I sort of discovered the the old thrash metal bands, I just really started expanding my horizons to different kinds of metal music as well. And one of the things that I love to do the most is that I like to take, stuff that's done by Judas Priest and that's by Iron Maiden and show it to people who are completely biased against metal music and dismiss it as nothing but cheap, trashy music that's nothing but loud noises and yelling and distorted guitars. I love to change people's minds about that sort of stuff and sort of introduce more people into the whole heavy metal coven or heavy metal family or something like that. So yeah, Zilla. That's sort of a brief description, or maybe a not so brief description of how I got into heavy metal. So yeah. Also, I'm currently working on my top 15 favorite metal bands of all time, which I'll probably have done and posted this weekend, so just be on the lookout for that. So, keep headbanging, fellow headbangers, fellow brothers and sisters of metal, and remember, I would say something really badass and cool right now, but I'm so fucking lame that I can't even think of something. Oh well, might as well throw up the devil horns. Metal lives! Alright, see you all later.